everyone. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff on this very glorious Monday. Yeah, I'm telling myself that. Stu's laughing at me. We'll get to my poor Mets in just a moment. But Perloff, it's about the Cowboys today. The Cowboys, because they beat the Rams 22-10. They shut out the Rams in the second half. And now you have to put the Cowboys as one of the elite teams in the NFC.
Ooh. First of all, you're someone who has no elite teams in the NFC. Is this an NFC elite team or an elite team? And and you know what I'm talking about.
I want to say that they are an elite NFC team, and I think they're like a top 6-7 team in the NFL. But I know they're a top and elite NFC team because I'm watching the Packers just totally screw around in London yesterday, lost that game to the Giants. I have not been blown away by the Buccaneers. The 49ers are a great defense, but the offense is, I don't know, and they're coming off a game with tons of injuries. Look at the Cowboys, right? If you took all of those other NFC teams, and your Eagles, of course, with your big win in Arizona yesterday, but if you looked at all of the rest of those other NFC quote-unquote elite teams, the Cowboys are the one team whose defense you can stack up with any of those teams and who's getting back the biggest and most important piece to any football team, and that's their quarterback in Dak Prescott.
Yes, but.
Okay.
But I don't think people are buying the Cowboys still. Jason.
Or you're not. I am.
No, I saw the Vegas is definitely not buying them yet because you did lose Tyron Smith this year. And you did give up a lot of wide receiver talent. Now, it looks like Noah Brown's filling in. So the same problems that were always there. It's just, yes, they're 4-1. That's very obvious. But come on. I don't know. Are you blown away by any of these wins? And
yes, I'm blown away by all of them because they're doing it with a backup quarterback. And you know what? Yesterday, Cooper Rush wasn't the story. You know, the quarterbacks always get a lot of attention. He wasn't the story yesterday. It was Micah Parsons, who's basically playing with like a groin injury that I don't even want to imagine how awful that probably felt for him. And he was still effective. The defense was super disruptive, taking advantage of a Rams offensive line. That's an absolute sieve. They made Matthew Stafford so uncomfortable yesterday. They were basically, besides like a couple big plays, basically almost took Cooper Kupp out of the game. I mean, I was so impressed by yesterday. I've been impressed by all these wins, but especially yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams, I'm more impressed by them being the Giants 2 weeks ago. The Rams are a disaster right now. And it was the exact wrong matchup because their offensive line is so bad. So you and I both said the Cowboys have a great chance here. And they did. Now, let me tell you about a couple other 4-1 teams.
Okay.
Last year, 2021, Ravens started out 4-1, ended up 8-9. Injuries.
Yeah, of course.
Chargers were 4-1, ended up 9-8, missing the playoffs.
Barely.
The Arizona Cardinals were 5-0 after 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Ended up sneaking into the playoffs.
Ultimate choke job by them.
Yes. It's 5 weeks, Maggie. I just don't think that you could say because they're 4-1, and that might not be your reason, but you can't say they're 4-1 and therefore they're a real threat in the NFC. Because when you say elite team, to me, you're saying they have a chance to come out of the NFC, and I just can't get.
They
I can't
absolutely
get there.
do.
You're telling me that this Cowboys team, with Mike McCarthy as a head coach, is going to knock out Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles, and probably the war-tested San Francisco 49ers. I just can't see them getting out of that field. And I'm slow, I admit. I did not see them in the play. I'm behind, and I don't want to miss the whole train because you're driving it right now.
I am, because I believe in it.
You really think Mike McCarthy's going to knock off that group of teams in the NFC? It feels impossible. Even when the Cowboys were full strike last year and 12-5, it didn't feel like they were a legit threat to win the NFC.
I'm glad you brought up last year because I think that you actually can't tell the story of this year's Cowboys if you don't have last year's Cowboys, which was a team that I think got really set in their ways with the type of offense that they were running, that once they ran into a really good defensive team in the 49ers in the playoffs, all of a sudden fell apart and they didn't know what to do about it. Now you have a team that by necessity has had to find a new way to run their offense. They've had to lean on their defense even more because of the Prescott injury, because of the Tyron Smith injury. It's forced everybody to have to go back to the drawing board and say, what are we doing here and how are we going to win games? It's made them more creative. It's made them more dialed in. And the fact is, it's made them a better team. I know that's a bizarre thing to say, but they are a better, more dangerous team now that they've had to deal with this Dak Prescott injury. And so what I'm saying is, yes, they are an elite team in the NFC because they get the biggest weapon possible back. We can talk about the Rams could get offensive linemen healthy. We can talk about Tampa Bay can add Gronk. I mean, that's the margins. Like, you're talking about the quarterback, the starting quarterback coming back for a team that's already rolling in the way that they are and winning in the way that they are. It makes them even more dangerous.
You just said they're winning because they're not relying on their star quarterback. And then you're saying then they're getting their star quarterback.
And think about what an upgrade that does the position and how much more dangerous it
When
makes.
you say they're adding a weapon, that means you add a receiver or a running back. A quarterback is not a weapon. He's the user of the weapons.
Oh, I think a quarterback can be a weapon. You don't think Lamar Jackson's a weapon?
Well, right. Because yes, when he runs.
Yeah, but he made a couple nice passes last night. Last night wasn't a great game, but
when you say getting a weapon back, you may usually like that implies wide receiver. Now, the reason I say that is we don't know what they're going to be like. Is Dak going to be what's the expression, a force amplifier when he gets back?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that a Star Wars term, a force amplifier?
Yeah, maybe.
Something about
physics?
The force?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, is it everything you described? You just described a formula where they don't have this high volume passing game and they rely on their run game and their defense to win. Now Dak Prescott comes back, so I think it's a big question. How's this all going to work together? There's a possibility they backslide into the Cowboys that we saw last year, which can get this great regular season record against the NFC East. But does that mean that it's built to really do anything in the playoffs?
I think it adds a different dimension of what you can do because let's be honest, like Cooper Rush, for as nicely as he's played, he doesn't really give you like tons of explosive play. I mean, he's had some nice throws to CeeDee Lamb in this time, things like that, but he's not like Mr. Explosive Play. With Dak, you get the opportunity for explosive plays and you get to add it into this great defense and the good special teams. Like, I think that they have the formula here. And while I'm watching the Packers can't put together two good halves of football, and I'm looking at basically everyone but your Eagles as teams that just don't look like they're very complete right now, I'm thinking to myself, why not the Cowboys? Like they've got the recipe here. They've got all the good ingredients. And then if Dak comes back and can play well, this team could be off and running.
I think the why not in many people's mind, and obviously I think I'm in the majority here. I don't think a lot of people are putting them in the top 1, 2, or 3 teams in the league, in the conference. I think they're right below that is history, and Mike McCarthy. I think a lot of people have trouble. Like I said, the Packers, yes, right. They lost to the Giants, but we've seen much worse Packers teams at this point in the season. Remember the RELAX year? They were terrible up to that point. Then Aaron Rodgers just turned it on. All of a sudden, it was like a spigot. It went on, and the Packers just went on a roll.
Yeah, but they didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
No, they didn't, but they won like 13 games.
Okay, but
I think the point is, whatever is going on with Aaron Rodgers right now, I don't think this is really emblematic of what we're going to see all season long. I think there's a thought that the Packers, they're kind of messing around. They're going to be able to figure this out. I think there's a thought that the Bucs are going to be able to figure it out because they have Tom Brady. I think there's a big thought that, obviously the Rams are going to be a different team by the end of the year. If they can survive this wave of injuries, they get Van Jefferson back. They're going to get some linemen back. That they'll be a different team. There's just a lot of experience, playoff experience in this NFC. So it's just so hard for me to see this formula where Dallas gets through. I'm going to fully admit I was wrong. I thought they were dead in the water, but they're better than I thought. But still, you didn't like Mike McCarthy last year. Now you think all of a sudden he can lead this team through the most stressful moments of the playoffs, game management-wise. It feels like a long stretch to me.
Well, listen, am I ready to stand up here and stand for Mike McCarthy? It's hard to do. But at the same time, I have to give him credit where they deserve it. Dan Quinn gets credit for the defense because they're playing great. People are giving Kellen Moore a lot of credit for the offense, but I feel like Mike McCarthy also deserves a lot of credit there, right? He's the one who said, I've got to huddle up with Kellen Moore. We've got to figure this thing out. I mean, hell, he is an offensive coach. Aaron Rodgers might not have, and the Packer fans might not have loved how he was coaching the team the last, 5 years or so, but he is an offensive coach who should get credit for what they're doing now. Listen, what happens in the playoffs, I can't tell you, but can I tell you that I think that the Cowboys are going into the playoffs, and as we continue through the season, will they be considered one of the elite teams in the NFL? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're already showing that they can be. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. If you're a Packer fan, you've got to be sick to your stomach about what you saw yesterday in London.
Yes and no. They know the drill here. Come on. They got Aaron Rodgers. First of all, I think that win is actually ironically going to help them because they are such, can I say, I'm going to say they're such wusses against the run. Like they needed.
Were you not sure if you could say that on the air?
I don't know.
I think wuss. I think the FCC is going to allow wuss.
Wuss a lot. I mean, they are so soft against the run. Like this was the wake up call, slap in the face that they needed. That usually they wait until the playoffs to show their complete vulnerability of the run game. They showed it on full. Aaron Rodgers is going to turn this on. I'm telling you, it doesn't feel like it now. There are the elements. You saw it on Sunday. Yes, they lost. It was a London game. Who cares? I would take a team like that over Dallas anytime. And I would take them over the Giants anytime. I know they just lost to the Giants, and I would definitely take the Bucs. I feel like maybe I'm stuck because I'm old. I'm stuck with these older guys. But Rodgers or Brady, you're telling me you see enough out of, and I'm going to lump the Giants in there. Like these young up and coming NFC East stalwarts, they are not in the elite class these proven teams.
I'm not putting the Giants in the elite class. That was a nice win yesterday. Yeah. I think that it has more to do with the Packers than it actually had to do with the Giants.
Yeah.
The Packers have not put together solid games here.
No, definitely not. But they're 3-2, and the season is long, and that's the thing. You're like,
and the Vikings are 4-1. So I don't know if I am a Packer fan if I'm actually getting all that comfortable here.
The 4-1 Vikings. I know mirages when I see one. The 4-1 Vikings, or whatever record the Vikings are, they are mirage.
Well, they might be, but it's not like the Packers are showing you like, man, this real sleeping giant here of the Packers. That's not what they look like to me at all.
Really, I feel like they're just messing around with it. They're like a lion messing around with its prey. That's what it felt like against the Patriots and what it felt like against the Giants.
Yeah.
Just run them. You have two great running backs. Just run it down their throat and protect the lead, and you'll be fine. But they have not done that so far. I don't know. I feel also the other thing you were saying, who deserves the kudos in Dallas? It's 5 weeks. Nobody deserves any kudos. The season is just starting. There's so much more football, and we cannot overestimate what we're seeing at this point. A 4-1 record to me says nothing. That says 4-1.
Wow.
I mean, we cannot. And I'm going to say for the Eagles, 5-0. The Eagles 5-0 means nothing. I mean, the Cardinals were the last undefeated team last year. There's so much more football to play. There's so many more injuries to happen. I am just not ready to buy the Cowboys as an elite team.
But even if first of all, it's like you have to give them credit. That it's so disingenuous not to. Not because of it's 5 weeks into the season. It's because of what you're watching and with the injuries they had and the fact that they could still hold the fort. None of us know how the rest of the season is going to go. But to not give them any credit for what they're doing and what they have done, that's just insane. Like, it sounds like being a hater because you have to, like, if any other team lost their quarterback and lost their left tackle, we would all write their eulogy. And here are the Cowboys not only, like, winning, they're, like, thriving. I mean, they beat the last two teams who are in the Super Bowl. Whatever you think of the Bengals or the Rams, they beat those teams, and then they beat two other division games in it. And whatever you think of the Giants or the Commanders, those are good wins. Those are wins that count, that matter.
Nope. No.
And now they'll face the Eagles coming up this week.
The Giants, those are not good wins, and they don't count them out. It's only 5. Yeah, okay, they deserve credit for winning without Dak. That's great. But it's 5 weeks in. This is nothing. There's so much more football. It's
Maggie,
so
5
early in the
weeks.
season.
The Steelers are winning the Super Bowl. They're only 1-4. It's only 5 weeks. Steelers all the way. I got you.
What, you want the Steelers? You're
okay.
calling now on the
It's only 5
Let's
weeks.
take
1-4.
for
Who
example,
cares? The Steelers. Let's go all the way.
For example, Mr. I'm headed to the playoffs at 3-2 Jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing the Packers
what is
this
that?
weekend.
They're 3-2. Again.
Do you realize the Samter's like about to pop champagne? They're 3-2. I don't know the last time the Jets even had a winning record.
I popped it on Sunday. I mean, we beat a third-string quarterback rookie from K-State that no one's ever heard of before, and I'm all in. Now, the Jets are going to win 6 games, but I'll be happy with that.
Samter's about to grow a Fu Manchu mustache like he's Joe Namath again, 1968.
Just go back to any season and look at the power rankings after week 5. They're always flipped upside down by the end of the season. So you have to look at a team like the Jets who are 3-2 and say, okay, they're 3-2, but. And I could be dead wrong, but I'm putting the Cowboys, they're 4-1, but.
Okay, we want to hear from you.
And by the way, do you notice, Stu, little nerves there, because his Raiders are about to get blown out by the Chiefs, which is, by the way, setting up. Sorry, I'm just looking at past statistics. Setting up.
Fair enough.
Sorry, Stu. Just looking at the facts, bud.
Setting up, which I cannot wait for. Talking about two real teams, the Chiefs and the Bills. Are you ready, Maggie? Are you ready for a real battle? Those are real teams. These are not mirages. There's no but. I don't care what the records are. The Chiefs and the Bills, this is a preview of the AFC title game, and it's coming.
I've got all week to be nervous about this, and I kind of love this nervousness. Like, this is massive. Did you see that Josh Allen was doing an interview recently where he said he had no idea that the Chiefs were coming up on the schedule?
Yeah.
And he literally didn't know. He said, hand to Bible to our friend Kyle Brand, that he did not know they were playing the Chiefs. And I don't know if I like that or not. Come on. Josh should probably know. He should probably know when they're going to play the Chiefs. This will be the 5th time they're playing since 2021. Like, this is insane. Yeah. This rivalry that's now blossom between the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, this is a preview of the AFC title game, and the other team, those NFC teams you're talking about, they feel like we're talking about the summer league in basketball compared to the regular season. Those are JV teams compared to what's going on there. I cannot wait, and I can't wait to see you be nervous all week. That's one of my favorite things to do.
This is going to be interesting, but I'm glad I have something to kind of turn my attention, focus on, like the Bills-Chiefs game coming up. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.